Anyway, I will let you get us going.
It's all good. I just scrolled down to the bottom of your notes because I wanted to see how long they were.
Yeah,
and I saw the PS and I was like, God damn.
No, I'm definitely bringing that up for sure. I will definitely be saying that at the end because that is how I feel. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine.
I don't at all.
I don't see how you don't.
I don't.
Oh my
when
God.
Wes himself talks about how she reminds him of him.
But I understand that. But you also have to take in the other things that factor in. She is not Wes. She is somebody else. And I've pegged it from this episode.
I disagree.
I pegged it.
Because I'll wait.
We'll get into it.
Anyways, welcome back to the Challenge Fandom Podcast. Got myself, Rick Hayes, my beautiful wife, Corrina Hayes. We got Tony Stats and Info, Lance, Josh, motherfucking Chamber. And
really quick.
Sure.
Really quick. Shout out. I really quick. I have to do a quick shout out. And I just want to go double check that I'm remembering the, the username properly. So give me just a second while I sit here and kill time.
3:28 a.m.
Okay. I found it. Okay. Shout out to Trenton. He commented on our episode 0 recap on Spotify, and he says, man, what's with no nicknames? LOL, hearing Tony Lance without the stats and info does not feel right. Mature people are weenies, by the way. So we are already being called out on you trying to drop nicknames.
Well, then you can call me King Kambasa, baby. Fuck.
Thank you, Trenton. Thank you so much for your support and your love and comments. And
there goes that decision.
Yeah, well, you got your fucking nicknames tonight. I can't make any promises next week. Anyways, welcome back to the Challenge Fandom Podcast. We're here to break down season 41, episode 2. We used to hook up.
We used to hook up.
We used to.
I don't care, though. I'm just here to win the challenge.
And when I say we used to, I mean 3 days ago.
I mean, we did it in the hotel room.
First of all, I'm just going to put this out there. The fact that you got ghosted when you're stuck in the same fucking house with her is next fucking level shit.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Zach Nichols for throwing this out there. The fact that Bananas stole your girl while wearing a fanny pack is also next level shit.
And a man 18 years older than you wearing a fanny pack stole your girl. Bro, at that point, just walk away. Just walk away. Don't bring any attention to that fact. I would not be pointing that out to people.
I mean, he's in the GOAT discussion for a reason, and that was some GOAT shit.
Pulled a GOAT move.
I also just want to throw in, I'm going to be a little bit salty about this whole situation this episode, not because of, I don't like Bananas or I don't like D. I actually like D, but I found out after we recorded our last recap, I found out that D and Bananas were actually introduced to each other about 2 months prior to filming by Josh Martinez. He's actually friends with D, and he introduced D and Bananas prior to them even leaving for filming. So D and Bananas were already linked up before they went. And I've also heard rumors that Leroy and Sydney were folded into that, which makes a lot of sense. Why D immediately went for Leroy second, So it definitely changed my opinion on how Bananas and D are engaging in the house. And I'm just like, ick. I don't like it. I don't like it.
My whole thing is Will's saying that they hooked up, and then D's like, we made out.
He's so we had sex in the hotel. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, while we debate the finer points of fucking coitus, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube as well and like the page.
Go check out our Instagram and our TikTok. It's the worst
transition ever. Sorry.
Go check out all of our shit first, real quick. Secondly,
subscribe.
Yes.
Anyways, we jump right in this episode where we left off on the last one, which is TJ announces, hey, y'all got to pick new teams. So it goes basically from winner to first, second, third, fourth, go in order, pick a new partner.
Okay, so I have a question really quick for you guys.
Yeah.
Now, when TJ said this, my assumption was that it would go winners, elimination winner, the rest of the cast in the order of, you know what I mean? Is it odd to anybody that Justin's draft order was not like upgraded in any way after winning the elimination?
They're making everything else so fucking complicated this season that this would have just been the cherry on top. So,
so why not do it? That's my thing. Everything else is fucking complicated. It just, for me, it felt like he should have gotten to pick sooner than almost dead last after winning an elimination. Like it just, and not just for him, but just elimination winners in general, you know?
I guess like where, again, the points, we have no idea what they mean or anything like that, but he got 2 points for winning the elimination. So perhaps that's what you like, that's where you get the perk for winning a lim is you get 2 points for winning elimination. Depending on what the points mean, maybe they don't matter at all. Maybe you get extra stuff from the gift shop. Who knows? But then I don't necessarily have an issue with where they fall in the picking order, just because I also don't think that just because you win elimination, you should go right after the winner. And then I don't know where else you would get slotted in other than just organically where you finished in the challenge. Now, so did he pick based on where he finished in the challenge, like the daily, or did he pick based on where, like based on the fact that he was in a limb, so he's in the bottom?
No,
I thought it was. Yeah,
he picked based on daily.
Yeah, you pick in the order that you finished in the daily. So, you know, because that was my other thing is when we were talking about the points, and I was like, well, you know, if points are used to pick your partner, how does that work when we get down to the 8 teams that have 0 points? Like how the fuck, you know? So I get why they're doing it this way, but it just makes me nervous now because the points are not being applied to picking your partner. Makes me nervous that what they're going to end up being used for. Before we get into the teams, I will just throw out, because I did have this conversation numerous times with numerous people through our Instagram inbox last week. One of my main concerns, and I really didn't even get a chance to express it here on the podcast last week because I hadn't really formulated all my thoughts into a solid way of expressing it, you know? And so what I ended up coming to realize was that one thing that was really bugging me was what happens to the points when the person is eliminated, right? And at this point, we still don't even quite know because Rogan had 0 points. So
surprise.
My thinking was very kind of similar to, I believe it was the Ruins, where, you know, they had the individual bank accounts and you earned individual money, and then you could take somebody into elimination. And if you beat them, you got to steal their entire bank account. And so my thing was, if we're using points to gain entry to the final or skip a checkpoint in the final or whatever, what happens to these points when you go home? Do they go to your opponent? And if so, could that potentially incentivize people to potentially not do good in the daily, to go into elimination, call someone in that's got 20 points, and now you have enough, if you can beat them in a limb, you have enough to buy your way into the final without even ever having to stress winning a daily, if you happen to be more comfortable in elimination, you know? So and I think that that's where my mind is going with this. You know, again, the challenge is trying to sell us this no skating by, everybody has to do good. And if you're going to go to the final, it's going to be because you're good. And it's but there is still room for people to skate by, strategize around this, potentially purposefully fail challenges to screw over their partner or to make sure they get into elimination, to steal someone's points so they don't have to work so hard in daily. You know what I mean? So it's just if it takes 3 daily wins to earn your spot into the final, but you can just steal those all from somebody in one go in an elimination, why would you not want to do that? Right? So I'm still curious what happens to points if you are carrying points. What happens to points if you're eliminated if you're eliminated? What happens to your points? Do they just disappear into the air? Do they go to a bucket? Do they go to your opponent? You know, so I don't know. That's one thing that's still kind of tripping me up a little bit with the points and the elimination system.
No, I get it. And I totally get it. It's just, for me, there's so much unknown right now that I can't even make an assessment if I'm going to like it or not like it. But I get where you're coming from on that. Once we get a little bit more clarification, because even, I mean, we're going to get into it, but even the reward for coming in first place in the daily changed from last week to this week.
Exactly.
There's no consistency. So until there is some, or we have a better understanding of how this game is actually being played, it's hard for me to be like, or it's just like, well, we'll see what happens.
So I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Do we think that this whole hangnail thing was actually put in place before the season started when they were crafting everything out, and that the first week you would get to pick somebody to save, and then from then on out, you would pick the other person that goes up against your hangnail? Or do you think that this is all an opportunity for Adrienne to rest her foot? Because she's not supposed to be on her foot for 5 days, and then all of a sudden the twist is that you're the hangnail, you sit out the daily, and then you're voted on as to whether or not you go into elimination or not, or the other person does.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not saying that they would necessarily move heaven and earth to save her in particular, but it's just interesting that the game was going one way and then that happened.
And it would make sense too, in a way, because like just the issues of bringing in a backup player, right? That's so much work. It's extra paperwork. It's extra bullshit, whatever. I do know that the way you're thinking is like, or the way that you originally started, right? Where last week was different. And then this week moving forward is going to be this, right? With the hangnail and the extra nomination. That was definitely the way Rick was thinking. I didn't consider that they changed it potentially for Adrienne, but I did consider the possibility that they're having a lot of fun this season, and this twist for what the winner is allowed to do may change every week. We may get something new every week, which if that's the case, I will be fucking livid, because please stop. Please stop. It's too much. In my opinion, most likely it's going to stay this, where the winner will nominate someone who will go up against the hangnail. And the reason I'm saying that is because Rick made a really great point for why they wouldn't have been able to do that last week. There was no hangnail.
Exactly.
And there was no way for them to have a hangnail. So at that point, they would have then had to have the winners put up somebody, the house vote somebody in, and then the house vote again to pick somebody. And obviously they're just going to pick the ones that they voted for. So just have them vote and have Banana saves. You know what I mean? So that makes sense. And most likely that will be the format that we see continue through the rest of the season, and is my thinking. But I also wouldn't put it past production to just keep throwing twists in on what the winner's reward is every week.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I mean, here's my thing is like, if Cara Maria was the one that got injured, I would say, yeah, production definitely would have fucking manipulated some shit to keep her past the first episode. Yeah, like if it was Cara or Ashley or like some mainstay popular or CT.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, then yeah, I see them manipulating it. But for Adriana,
well,
no.
and that, you know, going to that point, one of the vet backups that they currently have on location right now is John A. So like, why wouldn't they want to bring her in over But then again, who do they have to replace Adrienne? Because they'd have to bring a rookie in. Never mind.
From what I heard, they had another Big Brother player on there.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they would set it up for Adrienne, but maybe it's also been 5 days. We don't know how many days are passing in between, you know, these daily challenges and eliminations.
She said she was ready to go if needed, if called upon.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Look, I've got a whole other problem with her that I'll get into once we get into the club scene.
Let's run through the new teams just really quick. I know that they don't really matter, but just really quick.
It boils down to this. Since Dee and Bananas get to pick first, Dee's up first. She goes Leroy. Banana picks Izzy. V picks Jake. Jeremy picks Nany.
Sorry, that auto-corrected.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just remember Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Theo picks Sydney. Liv picks Will. Or Gabe. I am not sure.
She picks
That's
Will.
a joke. That's a joke. I know the difference between Will and Gabe. Just putting that out there.
So I'm going to start calling you Ashley.
Cedric picks Smash, which I like. Michaela picks Leo. Cara picks Gabe. Naya picks Ben,
or Ben picked Naya. I missed that one. I'm not sure who picked.
I think Naya picked Ben, but
I think Naya picked Ben.
They're on a team though. Leica picks Turbo. DK picks Blue. America picks CT. Tay and Derek are auto partners. Adrienne obviously is the hang now, so she can't do the daily, and she's up for the next elimination.
Pause really quick. What do we think about that? Is that just like part of that's what you get for sucking in the last daily? But like, she didn't lose the elimination. She didn't even compete in the elimination, but She did not get to compete in the next daily, but she is still eligible to be sent into elimination on the next. I don't know, something about this. I don't like it. But because here's my thing. If the teams were staying together the whole time, I'm fine with it. But the fact that they're changing consistently every week, I don't like that because you never have an opportunity to actually get on the same page with your partner. So now you're potentially going home because of some dumbass shit your partner did last week when they went home. And now you're fucked because they fucked you in the daily. You know what I mean? So I don't like it. To me, it doesn't encourage good players in the actual daily. Like it doesn't it doesn't invite that. I don't know.
If it was the person who got last in the previous daily, so like in the case of her and Rogan, they got last, Rogan went home. She was then the person without a partner, so she sat out the daily and was automatically up for elimination. So that's sort of like that's the equivalent of the male participant had to go into elimination, the female participant doesn't get to compete in the next daily, and she's potentially up for elimination the next week. But if she was the partner of the person who just got sent in, then that's not really fair. Like, it makes sense for the person who's like the partner of the person who came in last, who did not have to face elimination. It would make sense if they became the hangnail, not necessarily the person who lost a part.
Right. See, here's my thing. I like this a lot better than double agents. I didn't like your partner got eliminated, so you get to sit on the sidelines, not do the daily, not have to be in the next week's elimination, and then get handed a partner who just won an elimination.
Well, you could still get voted into elimination.
No, you couldn't.
Yes, you could, because Devin was fucking sent in after he lost Nicole.
CT did not get sent in, and he wasn't up for elimination.
CT volunteered.
We might have to rewatch that season because that's not how I remember it.
Yeah, CT volunteered because
You're going against the GOAT, Rick.
It was Josh, and then CT had to call someone down to go against Josh or to go against Doral. It was like a double elimination.
Maybe I smoked too much product. We'll see.
And Josh lost, and Devin lost.
Fair enough.
And they flew home together, and that's how they became friends.
To me, I like the idea that if you're still up for Jeopardy. Like, I don't feel like you should be safe because your partner lost. Like,
it's not about your partner losing. It's about the fact that you're not getting an opportunity to save yourself in the daily. You're automatically sent in. And I know this one, she didn't get sent in, but I feel like as the game goes on, it's going to be easier to just send the hangnail in because they're the hangnail. So they're just going to continue to get fucked, and it's going to become a strategy through the season. And I just don't like that they don't have an opportunity to save themselves in the daily. I'm not a fan.
But they still have the opportunity to save themselves in an elimination.
Or politicking.
It becomes a pivot to, like, if you're the hangnail, then for that duration, the duration of that, like, sequence, so your daily elimination, blah, 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 then you have to rely on your social game versus your physical game. Whereas if you were in the daily, then you can rely more heavily on your physical game to get first, to get safe. So you're then having to kind of balance it out and having to use different skills. I like it because it's like half the cast is new. So they're having to navigate different aspects of the game a lot quicker than some of the people who are now vets who have gone through like a couple of seasons before they maybe even had to work on their social game. So now, like, they're the people who are the hangnail, you automatically have to flip your social game on and find a way to stay out of elimination without the possibility of relying on just your physical ability.
Fair assessment.
I think like the idea of it and the idea of like the way you just explained it is great and would be great if that's how the challenge was played, but that's not how the challenge is played. You know, the challenge isn't really like, as much as people want to act like the challenge is about strategy, it's not. It's about alliances. And if you're not locked into an alliance, you're fucked. So it doesn't matter how much you go around preaching to Naya and to Olivia. And if you're not in their alliance, they're not going to save you no matter how much you beg. You know, so it just, I don't know. Like, yes, it would be great if social game actually worked. But more times than not, people know what they're going to do way before they actually even do it. And if you're not in that alliance, then you're kind of fucked. I don't know. I don't like when people don't have a chance to save themselves. I don't like it when they do it in Big Brother. I just don't like when people don't have an opportunity to save themselves. It's one of, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like just getting sent into elimination without actually losing something that day.
To quote fucking Ayana, it's a gift.
It's not a gift.
It's a gift.
It's not a gift.
It's a gift to prove
Moving
yourself,
on.
especially for a rookie. It's a fucking gift.
Really quick, before we move into the daily, there was a couple of things that happened in the house that I thought was super funny. My personal favorite was Adrienne going and making friends with CT, and then she has like her little confessional, and she's like, you know, I just want to be like his place of peace, like where he can like lean on and have someone to talk to. And I was like, brilliant, fucking brilliant. Yes, make friends with that man. Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, that is where you want to make friends with somebody.
My personal favorite was Blue calling herself a Derek Hopper. Like, that fucking got me.
Oh, really quick.
This fucking Derek Hopper. I was like, damn, Blue, that was slick.
Really quick, I'm going to insert a video and link it and all of that stuff here, right here. But Blue did a quick little Instagram reel following her elimination from the challenge. I meant to watch the full reel before I came out here. I've only seen about maybe like 30 seconds of it, and the volume was muted because I was like doing other stuff and I was just reading the captions, you know. But pretty much what I did find interesting is she was like, I was so upset because the first daily was so physical that I automatically presumed that the second daily was going to be some sort of a puzzle. And I wanted CT. I know CT is the guy to have for puzzle stuff. And I wanted him so bad. And every guy that wasn't picking me, I was just sitting there and I was just like, yes, 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 yes. Like she, you know, and then she's like, and then Derek picked me. And I was just like, no. And I was like, yeah, you probably got like in comparison, like if this is CT, great at puzzles, you got picked by Derek on the complete opposite fucking spectrum. Like, I was like, oh no, when I heard her say that, like, could you imagine like sitting there waiting and just like praying, oh my God, I hope I get CT. I want CT. Like, please let me be last. Like literally wanting to be picked last so you could be with CT. And then you get picked by Derek, which he's a badass, but then you see it's a puzzle and it's like, oh, fuck.
Well, that was like D when she picked Leroy. I was like, good pick. And then it was a puzzle. I was like, bad pick.
Yeah.
Who
even
was it?
Derek knows he's bad at puzzles. Fuck.
When we get into the daily, Gabe has a little confessional and he's like, if you know anything about Cara Maria, you know she's really good at puzzles. Rick and I both went, what? Like simultaneoally.
She got
what?
lucky on one puzzle and it happened to be a final. And won it. Yeah, that's the only.
That's it. That's
every
the only
other
one.
highlight you see of Cara crying is usually because of puzzle or math.
What's Gabe been watching?
That was my thing. He watched Vendettas.
He's my rookie pick, and I'm like, come on, guy.
He watched highlight reels of Cara's wins, you know. Yeah. So it looks like she's really good at at puzzles because of Vendettas. But
so I want to ask you guys, what do you think of this alliance, Janes and the Tarzan?
I'm
stupid name.
Yeah, horrible name.
But I like the alliance. I'm also very happy. Because a lot of the times when you've got people that come from shows and there's only one or two people from that show, they tend to get picked off because they don't have an alliance going in or even just like an understanding of the other people or what they bring to the table. So it's really nice to see Lekka as part of this group where it's like a lot of heavy hitters, where you've got Jeremy and Dee and Lekka are all together. I was very happy to see that because I was worried about the fact that she is isolated, where coming from a show that airs and is shot in Canada, and the only one from that show, and there's at least 2 or 3 people from most of the other shows so that they already have something built in, and she's sort of like a complete unknown coming into it from the reality TV spectrum, and especially from like the CBS sort of umbrella. So I was very happy to see her in that mix. Sydney, I'm still very much on the fence about, despite the fact that I watch Survivor religiously. Again, I'm not getting I'm getting Amanda vibes, and I'm not happy about it. So like, trying to reserve judgment, but
I would agree with that more than yours.
How? Because no, we're stopping
because he's
right
picking
here.
fights.
Pause the fucking thing, okay? No, pause. Because how is that any fucking different? Let me just say, this is what I said. This is what I wrote word for word at the bottom.
You know what? Fuck it. We're never going to get her anyway. Because
I said, P.S. Sydney is she's not the new Wes. She is the new Laurel. Tell me how Laurel is not just a physical Amanda. Tell me how they're any fucking different besides the fact that Laurel can actually compete.
That's very different. You can't compare physical violence and mental violence. No, I meant
like physically able to compete.
Oh, well, like, first of all.
Tell me how Laurel is not Amanda's shitty, horrible attitude mixed with the ability to actually compete into one person.
A very distinct.
That's Sydney.
A very distinct difference between talking shit and having too much hubris and being abusive.
Did you even listen to what she said? I understand Laurel and Cara, but when has Laurel ever been abusive to anybody else?
Big Easy.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
I mean, you asked, so I can tell you.
No, Cara? That is not accurate.
Cara.
I understand
3-4 different seasons.
I understand Laurel and Cara, but Laurel and Cara have a very personal relationship. That's different, in my opinion. It is very different. But anybody else, Laurel's never been. When was she physical with Ryan?
Oh, physical, sorry.
Yeah, she's a piece of shit. That's what I'm saying. She's an asshole. She talks shit, runs her mouth, thinks she's better than she is, and bags on people like she's better than them. And that's all Sydney did at the end of this episode. So I stand by my statement. I feel like Sydney does have Wes's hubris, but when you mix in the shitty part, she's more like Laurel for me. She resonates to me more as like a
win 5 eliminations in a row before comparing yourself to Wes.
So here's my thing with Sydney is I think there is a very distinct difference when someone is saying something for a reaction, as far as like, you know, shit talking for a reaction, and someone who's saying something to actually try to harm somebody and make them feel like shit. Laurel falls into this category. Sydney falls over here.
Laurel falls into this category in the last 2 seasons. That's why you feel that way.
No, she's always been that girl.
No, she hasn't.
We've had this conversation. We both have sat there and agreed on the fact that Laurel was probably that girl that got fucking bullied in school, made fun of because she was so tall. So she figured out the only way to lash out was to go above and beyond and fucking eviscerate the person so they wouldn't respond. We've had that conversation.
Yes, but her first few seasons, she didn't even fucking talk to anybody. She hid out in her goddamn bedroom all the time. That's what everybody bitched at her about and complained about all the time because she wouldn't engage with anybody. All she did was just kick everybody's ass and talk shit in her confessionals. I'm not talking about Laurel that's fucking lost her mind in the last 2 seasons that literally can't get past her jealousy of Cara. I'm talking about Laurel in the beginning of her challenge career.
So
that's what I'm talking.
So is Cutthroat too far forward, or is that in that same category?
Cutthroat's in there.
Because she was a fucking in Cutthroat.
I know she was a
and she said stuff to hurt people, not out of hubris.
Let's not act like that situation was not instigated by the person she was attacking as well.
Okay.
Which has been corroborated by numerous people that were sitting in that hot tub said Easy had been coming at her all fucking day, making fun of her back acne, the fact she had to be on Proactive that season, telling her how nobody would ever want her, just being a fucking asshole, and then she snapped on him in the pool. So no, I don't hold Cutthroat against Laurel. And
now tell me one time Sydney has done any of that fucking shit.
She's been on TV for 5 fucking seconds.
So how can you compare her to someone who's done all that?
Oh my God, you are impossible. I'm done with you.
I'm just saying, like,
you're so fucking literal about it. Like they had to have said and done the same exact thing.
No, she's just had to fucking try to hurt somebody in talking to them or arguing or insulting them, which she hasn't done.
She's been on for 2 episodes. Okay, so let's go look at Laurel's first 2 episodes. If we're comparing, we're just looking at 2 episodes and not looking at the fucking the trajectory of how she's already gone from just her hubris last episode to now this episode attacking other cast members directly in her confessionals. So yes, I see the fucking pattern, the trajectory.
If it leads there, then yes, I'll agree with you. But as of right now, it doesn't.
Moving on. You're wrong. You're right. I'm wrong. Moving on. Daily, side by side.
They are going to a daily where they're driving UTVs. Well, they are not. Someone else is. There's 4 of them, different colors, and they have puzzle pieces on the fucking bottom.
This is stupid, by the way.
Yeah, look, this is the most unwatchable fucking daily I've seen in a while.
It was bad. I'm trying to think of the last time that I hated a daily. Now, look, the actual puzzle they had to do, great. It was fine. You know what I mean? How they had to get the solution? Stupid. Why does it need to be all that? Why do we have to have a car jumping and then they're not even, I was like, oh, they're going to be right under the car. No, they were not. They were like off to the side and like that. I don't get it. I don't understand what was the point.
It was a rouge. Like you never had to go look at the car. If you looked at the puzzle pieces, like
but
they
you
explained.
You had to though. You had to for the first few. You had to at least get one side so that you could match the other sides. But you couldn't you could just go guess, I guess. But the point is that you get one side and then you could match the other and you don't have to you know what I mean? Because that was in a pattern. But you had to get the start of that pattern. You have to get it at some point, you know? What I thought was funny was, I think it was in Blue's video as well. She had said that like production, like they set up the daily and everything and they like timed it all out and had their like whole format planned out for the day. They literally thought that the challengers were going to complete this daily in like 20 or 30 minutes. And they were out there for hours. Like they were out there for a long fucking time. And I was like, why in God's name would production ever think that 15 teams of challengers, of reality star challengers, are going to complete this daily in 20 minutes? What?
Especially with those cars going as fast as they were.
And they weren't going slow either. That was my thing. Like they were moving to the point where even the show had to stop and freeze frame so that we could see that there were actually puzzle pictures or pictures of the puzzle pieces under there, because they were just, they were going so fast. The one fucking crashed. The blue, I think it was the blue one.
I forget which one.
Flipped over or whatever. Like absolutely fucking insane.
Look, low key, when they first started this, I was like, that is no way production's going to get away with putting them underneath that fucking jump just in case something happens.
Yep.
I will say originally when TJ was explaining it, I was even more angry because what I thought was happening was the cars were going to be jumping over them. And they were going to be completing a puzzle right underneath the car. And it was just supposed to be like a distraction type thing. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Like all your ideas are stupid. And this is the stupidest one you've ever had. So I when I saw what they were actually doing, I was like, okay, well, that's better than what I originally thought, but not by much. Like it's not much better.
So yeah, I actually liked it, but not to watch. I liked the fact that you weren't supposed to get all the pieces off the bottom. Like you weren't supposed to figure it all out from that. You were supposed to get partway through, be like, this is stupid. How are we supposed to do this? Look at your puzzle and be like, oh, it mirrors itself.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I like that it was very easy to circumvent the part that was impossible if you took the time to think about it.
Oh, well, don't tell the Derricks that.
I know. I'm actually like, I'm impressed that Turbo got it as quick as he did. And I was actually surprised that it took Bananas as long as it did, because Bananas is notorious for how do I work around the rules. Like, thinking back to, I think it was Total Madness when he stood outside of the like foam thing.
The foam thing with all the colors everywhere.
Yeah, and watched off the side. So like, he was the one who I expected to get it really quick. And then it was Turbo and CT who got it. And I mean, Banana still came fourth. Like, he didn't do bad. But I had fully expected him to find the loophole a lot quicker than fourth place.
It does make a lot of sense that him and D are so close, because she ran over and tried to get Lika to help her. So she was trying to do a workaround just like Bananas was.
Also, look, and I know D is your girl, but shout out to Turbo, because go sit the fuck down, D. Do your work yourself. Honestly, it kind of took away a little bit of my like, D's a badass. When she walked over and asked for fucking help, I was like, are you kidding me right now, girl? Go do your work. What are you doing? Like, you've already figured out that it's a pattern. So why do you need to go? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I also
You know,
wrote in
so-
my notes, props to Turbo for being like, no, we don't tell other team stuff.
Nope. And he even told her, he was like, they're going to check the cameras to see if you helped and cheated. Like, and I
Yeah,
was like,
no.
yeah, they'll check. I
Now,
don't
the
know if
only
they'll
thing-
care, but
The only
they'll
thing
check.
about that is like their concept of cheating and their understanding of what cheating is on this show is such a ever moving goalpost that like, who would know? You could do the exact same thing in one challenge and you get called out for cheating. And then the next challenge, they'd be like, no, it's totally legit. Because like, I mean, with Survivor, like if you don't knock down your puzzle and somebody else copies it, that's your own fault for not knocking down your puzzle.
Right.
But like, and I mean, obviously going over and being like, hey, how do you do it? A little bit different. But
yeah, I was like, what?
yeah, like if you go and look at their puzzle, fine. That's a lot to do because you have to walk up the thing to take a look at it. Somebody's going to see you, but still, that I would be interested to see if they would actually consider it cheating. And I know that they had the scene in like the This Season On where somebody cheated at
later.
something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like way later.
I wonder what that cheating scandal is going to be.
Because when that happened, I was like, if this is what they're doing for then TJ to be like, I don't like cheaters, then that's like, that's pretty lame.
I will say really quick, sorry, and then I'll let you finish. I will say that in Blue's video, now I don't know any of the information. I haven't heard it like corroborated anywhere else. So I'm not saying this is fact, just passing along info I heard. She did say that aside from even what was shown with D, there were people cheating. There were people helping each other. There were people like cheating and looking off other puzzles and running around all the completed puzzles trying to see, you know what I mean? So there was quote unquote cheating. But again, I guess, like you said, it defines how you classify cheating in the challenge.
I don't think I had anything else. I think that was
my bad. I felt like I cut you off, but
no, I think that was it.
I knew if I didn't say it, the thought was gonna be gone.
So do you guys want to go through some of that or?
No, the only thing I want to say, just because I keep giving my CT shout outs. First of all, I absolutely loved like the opening confessional of him with America, you know, and she's like, oh, you know, like this is like a fan's like biggest dream is like being partnered with CT. And it just ironically, now I don't know if this is why he did it, but you could hear CT immediately snap into his Boston accent with the wicked smart. And then he did his little mumbly thing. And he like asked America something and she just looked at him and smiled and was like, okay. So, you know, she didn't hear him. And I was like, did he just give her a fan service moment and do like the mumbly Boston accent because he knows she's a massive fan? Like that's in my heart. I feel like he did that for her. I don't know if it's true. But in my heart, it feels like he did that for America, and I love that for them. So
I have a feeling you're right.
it just felt so ironic that she was like, I'm a big fan, and like I'm partnered with CT, and this is every fan's dream. And then he goes into the Boston mumbles I haven't heard him talk in that thick of a Boston accent in years. You know what I mean?
On what
years.
was it, Spies and Lies? Just a little bit when he was
a little bit here and
smoking.
there. Yeah, when he was like, when he gets upset, you hear it come out more, you know, when he gets upset. But yeah, he hit her with that wicked smart. And I was like, oh, and then he started mumbling and I was like, oh, she just got like a prime CT moment experience in person. That's awesome. I love it for her. And then, of course, you know, CT pro tips, work smarter, not harder. And that was when he figured out the puzzle.
I'm glad that CT pro tips are back. I will say, I find it really refreshing that, and I don't know how long it's going to last, so I have to say it this episode, but I find it really refreshing that we're seeing a different Turbo this season.
I do agree.
But not only that, but when America was partnered with him, she said how stoked she was to be partnered with a champ and like all that he brings to the table. And Lekka said the same thing. So like the new people that are coming in, yes, Turbo can be a lot in the house, but they're acknowledging what he's capable of in the game, which is huge. And like, it's nice to hear because a lot of the times, a lot of the fans are pretty down on Turbo. And like we were last season as well. Like it's not news that Turbo can be a lot to deal with in the house, but it looks like he's kind of getting like a makeover edit so far in the first couple of episodes. And I know that there's a fight with CT at some point.
I know, where he calls him fat and weight chains and fucking Turbo.
He's getting the alter edit just to get the villain edit right at the fucking end.
And I just know he is going to get fucking ripped by the woke CT fans because he body shames and weight shames CT in that moment. He is going to get fucking ripped. They're going to review his movies. They're going to fucking flood his comments. Like, they're going to fuck his shit up. The CT stands are going to go nuts. They're already pissed just based off the commercial, like the preview of the fucking fight. So I'm just waiting for the moment where it's just going to explode. Anyway, daily, there's not a whole lot, to actually talk about. But, we do have the final placements is Naya and Ben are in 8th place. Michaela and Leo come in 7th. Cedric and Ashley come in 6th. Bananas and Izzy come in 5th. Anissa and Justin coming in 4th. I was so happy about that. I was
pretty stoked on that.
Yeah. CT and America coming in 3rd. That was awesome. Olivia and Will in 2nd. I was super happy about that. And then, I wasn't even too mad about Turbo and Lekka winning. So, and then obviously we had, Derek Kaczynski and Blue in last place. And TJ notifies us of the change where the winners will not be saving a team. In fact, they will actually be nominating their own person who will then go against the hangnail down to be decided, like the jury has to choose between those two. So, and I feel like we've already kind of broke into that, but do you guys have any thoughts on how that's kind of ran, how we're narrowing it down from being open to the whole house to just the 2 people that you're allowed to vote between?
It takes away a lot of the politicking, however you want to look at it. So there's less drama over that, or more drama, depending on how you look at it. Depends on who your partner is.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, these twists are, let's see what happens next.
I mean, that's a good point. It really does kind of withdraw a lot of the politicking and a lot of the social play that you would normally see for a nomination ceremony and deliberations and stuff. And that makes sense why we didn't really see much of a deliberation session at all in the house. So, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But I miss seeing everybody run room to room. And, I miss the Veronica of it all, if that makes sense. Like, if you know, I miss the Veronica of it. So that's the vibe I'm kind of missing out on right now.
Politic for our friends. I got you, Tina. I got you, Tina. Sit down.
Because really, like, the only deliberation that is going to happen, presumably going forward, is the first place team talking to the last place person and the hangnail and having that conversation. Like, that's going to be what we see, because really the house nomination isn't really going to do all that much.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing is I do like the fact that I didn't like the idea of the winner's got to save somebody from getting going in. I didn't like that. I like the idea of the winner picking somebody to go in to get voted on against the hangnail.
Yeah.
Quick question, though. Would you rather see the winner pick somebody or the man in the sand put somebody up? Because that's another thing that we've talked about numerous times is how we like the person that's in elimination gets to call out who they, so could you imagine if the losing team gets to put somebody up and then it's debated between that person and the hangnail?
They get to put up a second place team?
They get to put up the second option, the losers. I don't know. It's just a
kind of how it's worked, though, because Blue told them.
It did work that way this week.
Way last week, too.
But it won't continue to work that way.
Yeah, I get frustrated when the reason that people vote somebody in and they're like, this is the person that they said they wanted to go against. Yeah, it was like they got last place. They did the worst in the daily. The rest of you have the opportunity to say who they go against. Why are you asking them who they want to go against? It really doesn't matter. You should be talking as the rest of the house and saying, who do you want this person to go against? And I get it. There's the social game, there's alliances, everything like that. But at the end of the day, the reason that that person is going into elimination is because they did the worst you can possibly do in the daily.
Yeah,
Right.
but as a winner of that daily, I would play that card because it's plausible deniability. So
Yeah.
if the person that did come in last place and said, "Oh, I want so and so," goes down there and kicks their ass, it'd be like, "I didn't want to put you in, but they said that they wanted you, and that's what the house did last week. So I was just going along with
Go
it."
after them.
Yeah, go.
not
Oh,
me.
you already went after them. They're gone. So
Yeah.
let's work together.
I'm not saying it's a bad move to not have blood on your hands. I'm saying I don't like it as a game move.
I
Of just
agree.
being like
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it as a game mechanic where person who comes in last then takes their shot. I would like it if it wasn't the last place that goes in, if it's the house votes a team in and then that team calls down a team.
And that's fair
only,
too.
And only the first place team is safe. Because then it's not a matter of like the person came in last and they get the decision of who they want to go against. Then it's a matter of like, you assholes all sent me down here. You're going to try to send me home.
Right. No, and I definitely see that point. And actually thinking back to episode 1, that was a big theme with Blue in the kitchen when everybody was walking around like, oh, Rogan wants Justin. And she's like, why the fuck do we care what Rogan wants? He literally lost. Like, why are we not picking who we want him to go against? So I definitely get that. It was just a thought that came in my mind, of just like, how else could they run this situation here with these dual nominations? But I mean, I guess the winner's picking it is the best case scenario. You could also go something crazy and have the hangnail pick who they're going up against in votes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would make the social game really elevated and really crazy because,
Because then you have to socialize with the hangnail.
You have to socialize with the hangnail, and the hangnail then has to strategize against who do I call down that I think I could beat in elimination or whatever, but like, who do I call down that I think I could beat in votes? Like, it's no longer about who you could beat in elimination physically because you won't be going against that person. It's who do I think I could beat in votes? Who do I think I have more friends than in this house? And I think that would be like a really neat little twist, but that's really just spitballing ideas.
I will add on to it so that it makes sense.
Okay.
Winner picks a team to save. Hangnail puts somebody up to go against them, which the house then votes on to go against the last place team.
There you go. Something like that would be cool too. I mean, and not saying that this is bad. I'm just, like I said, I'm just thinking other things that they could do.
We have a podcast to talk about a show. We might as well throw our own ideas in.
Yeah, no. But anyway, so after the daily, we pretty much go right into the club scene. I think there's like a little scene in the house, but I didn't even write it down, so it must have just kind of been inconsequential.
They got dressed.
Yeah, they got dressed.
One thing I just
go ahead.
want to talk about this club scene, and the one thing that really pissed me off on this was Adrienne.
2-for-1 drinks.
Okay, can I talk about something before then? Because there's like a lot of stuff that happens before Adrienne.
Yeah, go ahead.
So really quick, one thing that I kind of noticed is, obviously Turbo gives the reins over to Lekka and kind of just tells her, you do whatever you want, minus Nany and Kara. You can't touch Nany and you can't touch Kara. But other than that, I'll back you up on whatever the hell you want. And my first thing is I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I've never really noticed it. How the hell does Nany manage to pull like the biggest, strongest, toughest champions, male champions to her side every time? I know her and Bananas have a long history and they dated, hooked up, whatever. I know all that, but like, where does Turbo did they, I know they had their partnership, but they fought a lot. Did they hook up? Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, it's always like the top competitors who are like, you can't fucking touch Nany. CT, you can't touch, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just weird. It's just, I'm like, how does she do this? Like, how does she just pull in all these dudes? And she's not that great of a competitor. Not saying she's bad, but she's not great. So it's like the Kara one I get, right? You'd want to keep someone like Kara around the same way you want to keep someone like Tori around because they can compete, whatever. But I don't know. It just always strikes me as odd when like these like super tough, high level competitor male champions are like, you can't touch Nany. And I'm like, why? What is she doing for you? I mean, I guess social game, but I don't know. It just seems weird.
Her and Anissa are sort of like on par as far as
Anissa's
their social game goes.
Yeah.
So like I can see, and some of the ones that are heavier hitters in the game as far as like physical threats don't always have the social game to match. So I can kind of see that duality and longevity as well. Like I'm not saying that she is lesser than or not equal to, but it almost seems like a big brother, little sister mentality of like, you don't mess with my sister. Like we will absolutely end you if you lay a hand on her, that sort of thing. Like,
okay.
And it's that group too. Like your CT and like Turbo
Leroy,
and people like that.
yeah.
Like who would absolutely have that mentality of like, you don't mess with my family. And I feel like longevity and just absolute history on and off the show, you would start to build that. And because the challenge, like where you do have the same people returning season after season after season, that's something that we don't see on your Big Brothers and your Survivors as much as you do on this, where there's really only like, I don't know, 8 to 10 people that shift on a given season.
Yeah. That makes sense. It just, and maybe it's not like that I don't understand, but it just always strikes me as so odd, right? Like it strikes me as odd when they're like, no, you can't touch Nany. It's like, why are you wanting her to be your partner in the final or something? Like, I just, what's the point? Like, it's just, I don't get it. Anyway, but I know you wanted to talk about the Adrienne stuff. You can go ahead with that. The only other thing that really happens in between, Derek and Justin talk, and there's really no resolution made from it. Justin expresses how upset he is, and Derek pretty much tells him, look, dude, sorry, I feel bad, but I've known you for 2 days, and I stuck with my alliance because that's what I do. And that's fair. So I can't even be mad at Derek about it. So,
yeah, I mean, like he said, they've known each other for 2 days. No, the thing that got me with Adrienne is she was all for Rogan naming the person he wanted to go with. But the minute that fucking Blue said she wanted to go against Tay, who's in her alliance, Adrienne's like, well, oh, you don't want to go against a vet? You're just going to let the vets run the game?
Yeah.
They're just running this game. It's like, bitch, a vet went out last week. We're in the 2nd episode. What the fuck are you talking about? You have zero clue what's going on.
She was just trying to save her friend, really. Like she was throwing everything at the wall.
But here's my thing is like, yeah, you can try to save your friend, but maybe you should try to save yourself.
No, it's fair. But I will also say she does have a fair point, because even when Rogan called somebody out, he called somebody out from the opposite stripe, right? That's how TJ's referring to them. Like pick somebody from the opposite stripe, vet, rookie, whatever, right? As a vet, he called out a rookie. Blue as a rookie is calling out a rookie. And I think that that's where Adrienne's like, what the fuck? And I also would be like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you want to try to, offset, like keep these, instead of ensuring that a rookie goes home? Like no matter what, now our little rookie alliance of us newbies is automatically down one person. We have no chance in this to keep the numbers even up with the vets. Because as much as people are like, oh, we're partners, nobody's shooting at the vets, nobody's shooting at the rookies, everybody is. Because you still can, because they're individual eliminations. So you can still shoot for the rookies. You can still shoot for the, you know what I mean? So it just, I see where she was coming from, but I do also agree. Like it was definitely I was like, girl, calm down, because just last week you and Rogan were in like everybody's ear talking about who Rogan wanted, and it's fine. Like just calm down. Like Blue can have who she wants, but I do see Adrienne's point at the same time,
Yeah, but I don't. Because Blue has even said that everybody in this UK alliance does not socialize, does not talk to anyone outside of their fucking alliance. So as an outsider of that alliance, why would you not want to break that up? Regardless if it's rookie or veteran, a group of 8 fucking people can run a house. We watched it for the last 6 seasons.
I'm not saying she's not wrong. That's why I said
I'm not debating you. I'm just saying it. That's all.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah. And then now there's two members of that group gone.
Right, because Rogan and
Blue
went.
Yeah.
She wasn't part of the UK alliance at all. She's American. She's Big Brother. It's also really weird, again, that Tay just automatically got looped into that, and good for her for just rolling with it. As an Australian, she got just looped into the UK alliance. Like
It's because they have similar accents.
She's like, whatever, sure, yeah, I'm here. And
Hey,
I love it
if an alliance of strong people says that you're part of them, sure. Until you have to actually decide in a deliberation that you're not with them, I'm with you. But like, to contrast your point, Rick, Blue was also the one last week who was like, why do we care what Rogan says? He's the one who lost. Why should we care? But then she wants somebody specific.
But to the counterpoint, Adrienne was last week fucking campaigning, like, give Rogan what he wants, give Rogan what he wants. And then this week was like, let's not give Blue who she wants.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's two sides to every argument. They only make the argument because it's for them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But
exactly. It's like, it's exactly like the deliberation conversation that happened last week with Bananas and Derek when they were like, oh, these UK guys, they're just sheep and they just vote the way like Rogan tells them to. And then Bananas is like, okay, so Derek, I'm going to need you to vote this person. And Derek's like, yeah, I got you. And I'm like, you guys just did the same thing. You just talked shit about them for doing.
That's how the challenge works.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just
Derek and Bananas, or Derek didn't vote the same way Bananas did.
And then they didn't even follow through on the plan.
It's just, I think the part that kills me the most about Adrienne isn't even she doesn't want Blue to have, it's just the audacity to say, you're going to let the vets run this house. And the rookies have been running the goddamn house the last 2 episodes. Here's
my issue with Adrienne, and I will throw this out, okay? Very pretty girl, very pretty. I wonder how much is going on up here in the upper portion up here, because when she's talking to Blue and Lekka about, she's like, oh, why wouldn't you want to shoot at a vet, whatever? And Lekka's like, well, who would you want? She said, she turns, looks at all the female vets and decides to say Michaela? What in your mind would make you think that Blue is going to go down to that elimination and beat Michaela? Like,
Lekka was even like, you don't want that.
Why wouldn't you say literally almost anybody else? Nany, like literally any of the smaller, why would you say Michaela? That's like saying put her against Liv, put her against Tori Deal, put her against Cara.
Put her against Jenny West.
Put her against Jenny West at that point. Like, what do you mean put her against Michaela? Like, girl, you just want Blue to go home. That's all that told me right there.
Like, I don't know, just the person that I speak to the least. Absolute powerhouse?
An absolute monster? Fucking physical beast? Sure, yeah, let's do that.
I'm a grown-ass man. I wouldn't want to go to an elimination against Michaela.
Fuck no. Hell no.
I have watched her on 2 seasons of Survivor and on The Challenge. Ain't no way.
Have you seen her fucking thighs? No, thank you. I'm good. Okay? Thank you. Anyway, we have a couple little moments that close out the bar scene. We got Leo and Derek fighting because Leo stole Derek's
2-for-1 drinks.
Yeah, told him there was 2-for-1 drinks. And then as Derek was like getting it and trying to pay for it or something, Leo took one of the drinks. I still don't even understand. So I'm just going to move on.
Hold up.
I watched it
meant
twice.
the most to me.
Whoa.
Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
Happened?
I just said I watched it twice. Like that was one part that I went back and watched again. I still don't understand.
It was a bunch of drunk people trying to explain shit. That's a horrible thing to try to listen to. But
Anissa is just
that's what I want to talk about. Was Anissa's trying to diffuse the fucking situation, and Leo gets in her face and starts yelling. I thought we were going to see old CT for a second pop out.
Yeah, he said, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
I would have fucking pissed my pants if he talked to me like that.
You do not get in Anissa's face like that.
Look, first of all, Anissa could probably fuck Leo up on her own.
I was going to say, Anissa would have fucked him up. But then you also got CT there. You've got Bananas there. You've got, dude, you don't talk. That is like walking up and spitting in TJ's face. You would get fucked up. That cast would wreck your ass. You know what I mean? You don't disrespect CT. You don't disrespect the OGs that have literally carried this from when the show was like in the single digits. Okay? You don't talk to Anissa that way.
Maybe Leo was just upset because they used to hook up. That's a lead into Will in the next part.
Did they hook up?
No, they didn't. That was just a lead in.
I was like, did they used to hook up? Or was
I mean, look, Anissa pulls some trim. I'm going to say she might have. She might have. And you know what?
She does.
Anissa, if you did, good for you, girl. You go get you some.
Girl. Yeah, she does.
If you didn't, good for you too.
I've seen Anissa in person. Lady, give me a chance, please.
She's beautiful, honestly.
Oh my God.
She's fucking gorgeous.
She's been gorgeous.
Yeah,
Will be
she's
gorgeous.
beautiful.
But Will continues to freak out as he sees Bananas and fucking D getting closer and closer. And this is one of those moments where I was like, bro, just fucking drink a water and walk away.
Just go to bed.
Everybody's telling them, walk away. Forget it. Just go. Go. You don't want to see this. Go.
Just go, bro.
You know what it low key remind me of? Is when, remember in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when he fucking walks up to her and he's on the phone and the brother's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And he goes up there and he's like, I'm pretty sure I just ruined her day. He's like, that make you happy? And you feel better now?
And then it flips and they're fucking.
She's having the best time of her life.
Best day of her life. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I ruined her day. No, the fuck you didn't, bro.
You didn't, bro.
You helped me kickstart.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Will.
That was some angry sex there. But why punch a wall?
Yeah, this fucking idiot. Like, and not only, look, I knew it was going to be bad. The minute it switched from the bar scene and went to the bus scene, and we got a bus scene, I said,
we never get bus scenes.
Some shit is going on.
Who was it that stopped him to sit in the front? Was that Justin? Justin?
Yeah.
Smart on Justin.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of funny because I think, and not a direct quote, but refer back to ZMP, Zach Nichols' podcast. Zach actually, was talking earlier about the whole Bananas Will D situation. And Zach, like we said earlier, pointed out how just kind of comical it was that, you're a 26-year-old man and your girlfriend gets stolen by a man in his 40s wearing a fanny pack. And just like that was so funny to Zach. And he goes, but what made it even funnier was you have this big, beefy, tough guy, Will, and he's just being coddled by a cheerleader in the bus because he can't stop fucking getting in his emotions about a girl that doesn't even claim him. It's just
shit.
Bruh, you set a reputation for yourself in these 5 minutes of TV time that you got on this episode, and it was not a good representation.
Bring him back. He's messy. I like it.
Oh, he's messy for sure. Bring him back, but you're gonna be the joke. You're the joke now.
I didn't understand why he felt that D owed him an explanation. As far as the drama, whatever. D and Bananas knew each other for months ahead of time, and Will's drinking, Will's in his feelings. We've got the club scene, and then it just keeps going. And of course, we see the people who are trying to calm him down. We see the two people that are completely separate from the situation doing their own thing. There are going to be people in that house, because this is season 41 and we've watched this, that are egging that on behind the scenes that aren't shown.
Oh, yeah.
So and I mean, I don't fault him for getting emotional or anything like that. That's neither here nor there. I'm all the way back at I don't understand why he feels that D needs to tell him anything before anything happens with anyone else, because it doesn't, even he said, if they're hooking up, then it's casual, right? If you're using the terminology of we hooked up, then that's casual. That's non-committal.
And I think that that's kind of where my mind is going, is it's okay, obviously, people have different, different definitions of stages of relationships. And Will said at the beginning of the episode, now I'm not sure where in the timeline that specific confessional was. It could have been from later, after the club, or maybe he said it in two different confessionals. Who fucking knows? But it was told to us at the very top of the episode, before the daily, before the club, before anything. And he says, D and I used to hook up. In fact, that's the name of the entire episode. We used to hook up, right? So to me, Will saying D and I used to hook up tells me that it wasn't a one-time thing in the hotel. It was a continuous thing that they've been doing for maybe months, a year. Who knows what the time frame is, right? So in that situation, I can see where maybe Will would appreciate a heads up, hey, I'm moving on to sleep with somebody else. Cool, great. Thank you for letting me know. You do you, I'll do me. Now, that being said, I also think that Will is just kind of saying that to take some of this oh, he's in love with D. He's no, I'm not in love with her. It just would have been nice to have a heads up. When really, I think he's just maybe a little bit obsessed with Dee. Maybe not obsessed, but like he's definitely upset she didn't choose him.
You don't punch a wall otherwise.
Of the situation.
Yeah, exactly. But what I really did find super fucking hilarious was the whole time that this like disaster is happening out on the balcony, and we got Mama Nisi out here fixing everybody's shit, right? She's fixing Derek and Leo. She's over here fixing Will and all his shit. Like, she's just trying to fucking fix everybody. So props to Anissa. Major claps for you for just freaking trying to hold it all together. But then we have Derek Kaczynski, Aviv, and Tay standing on the upper floor, looking out the window, eating chips, just watching all of this shit go down. And I was just watching this scene like, that would be me. Like, I wouldn't be instigating in the background, but I wouldn't necessarily be trying to stop the drama either. I would definitely be sitting there watching it like it's TV, because at this point, I haven't watched TV in like a week since I've been out of the hotel room. So this is what it's going to be. This is my entertainment now. And I'm going to sit here and eat some Cool Ranch Doritos and watch the show, you know, like,
so I heard Dee say, and I'm pretty sure it was in this episode, I don't think I saw it on IG or anything like that, that they just hooked up in the hotel. And
that's my thing, is Dee is giving a completely different story. So then at this point, it's like, who do we believe, right? Is Dee saying this to make herself not look like hussy? And I'm saying that in quotes for anyone listening on like Spotify. And I think that word was actually used on Instagram by like Will or something. I don't know. But anyway, you know, if she didn't want to look like she's just bouncing around guys in the house, is she just saying that? Is Will's version more accurate? Is Dee's version more accurate? Like, it's so hard, and they're so they feel so conflicting, right? Because Dee's like, we made out one time. And Will is like, no, we hooked up. We used to hook up, and we hooked up. We slept together in the hotel room. And Dee is like, no, we just made out. And so it's like, is it the guy lying about the girl and you know what I mean? Or is the girl trying to hide how much she's actually like hooked up with people in the house? So honestly, I feel it could go either way. And, you know, if she did, props to her. Get it, girl.
And it was one of those storylines where I was like, this has taken up the bulk of the episode, and it's not something that I'm personally invested in. So it's like, that's why I messaged you guys, and I was like, so there's still 22 minutes left of this episode, and I don't know what's happened so far other than this huge middle chunk.
Yeah. No, it definitely took up a lot of the episode, the Will, Dee, bananas. The only thing that I really took out of this that I thought was kind of really important to know, other than just watching the drama unfold for the entertainment of it, is that the next morning after the fight and everything, Olivia, Naya, and Derek Chavez are all sitting around laying in bed talking. And Olivia and Naya both talk about how it is a known thing through the house that Will is actually kind of an angry partner, has trouble controlling his emotions. And they point out that he's kind of becoming the one everybody wants to avoid when it comes time to pick partners. And so I don't think this is going to bode well for Will the rest of the season. No. I have a feeling Will is going to be targeted because he's difficult to work with and he can't control his emotions.
And he's already been targeted once.
I do have a question, though. And this was something that I had written about, like, when we first talked about, like, the partner picks, like, in the top of the episode. Do you think that people, now that we are in our third grouping of partners, do we think that people are going to be able to go back to partners they've had previously? Or do they have to continue to get people that they haven't had? Because very quickly, that's going to become an impossibility as people get eliminated, where we're losing like one person from different pairs. Eventually, it's just going to become an issue where you can't pick somebody who you haven't been partners with before.
Right. And yeah, and that's something I actually was kind of curious about as well, is like, are we going to see partners repeat, you know?
Yeah, because like Lekka said, like, I would rather stay with Turbo and just ride with him, because I don't want to pick a new partner. So I could see people, if you're thinking about it in that mentality, especially the vets, trying to get partners early on that they may not want to run a final with long term, so that they get that person out of their like rotation, so they don't have to be partnered with them on a daily that's going to mean a lot more than the ones too early on.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that it's also important to remember and take into account the possibility that we won't have this format of partner switching all season. There's a very big possibility that halfway through the season, TJ is going to flip the format on us, which, honestly, I'm just at this point, I don't even want to say it's a possibility. I'm just waiting for it to happen because it happens every freaking time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving into nominations, really quick for any of our viewers out there, if you guys notice, obviously I'm now sitting here by myself and Rick is not here anymore. He has not been feeling the greatest the last couple days. Just really like the last 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And he really, really thought he could make it through recording tonight. He really, really tried. And he's just not feeling that great. So we're just going to finish up nominations and eliminations without Rick. But he loves you all. And he asks that you subscribe and like the video and follow. No.
Otherwise, he won't get better.
Yeah, he'll never get better if you guys don't subscribe and like the video and follow us on Instagram and follow us on TikTok.
Perpetual sniffles. You don't want to do that to Rick.
Definitely
like and subscribe.
Not. So we move into nominations from here, which is actually like super easy, super quick. Lekka and Turbo, obviously, they choose Tay to go into nominations against Adrienne. Lekka said that it was just the easiest thing. Give Blue what she wants and take the pressure and the fault off of herself. And I don't blame her. So they end up picking Tay, and it ends up being Tay. I think the vote was 11-1. The only person that voted for Adrienne was America, and that's because America is really good friends with Tay. So
they share a room, I think.
You're right. And that's what she had said. She had said like Blue is like her like safe landing spot in the house, and then Tay is like her roommate or whatever. So nomination ceremony was super, super quick. And we pretty much go straight into the elimination from there. We get the little scene of them getting dressed, which I will say, I actually like the way they're doing these cutscenes of the people getting dressed where they have like their picture and then it's fading to like highlights of them and then them getting dressed and stuff. I just, as an editor, I really like how they formatted this. So I just had to throw that in there. But yeah, we get down to the elimination ceremony and everybody's like, oh my God, it looks like a club and like all this stuff. And there's lasers and shit everywhere. And I'm curious, what did you guys think about this elimination?
I liked it a lot. As to what I thought it was going to be, I had no idea. But as to what it actually is, I really liked it. I think CT said it best. He said it's sort of like Balls In, but it's sort of like Balls In with a dash of the elimination where you have to rip the other person's patches off.
Yes.
Like, I love that this season we're getting eliminations that we haven't had before, even if it's just a twist on something we've seen before. So like this, same sort of idea as Balls In, but totally different mindset, totally different way to play, totally different way to navigate it. And the same with like last week. Like we've seen something like that. We've not seen that. Like normally it's the one where they're hanging upside down and you have to like climb, you have to go back and forth.
The Leroy elimination. Yeah.
Exactly. Like Leroy and Jay.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
But then you have it different. Like you're on top of it and it's the roller coaster.
Exactly what I said last week. That's so funny. That is literally exactly what I said last week. Because I was like, it's literally like the Leroy elimination, but flipped. This time you're on top of the track and with Leroy's, you're hanging underneath the track. That's it, but no, I agree. Yeah.
This elimination, I loved it. You had to deal with strategy and physicality. And you had to have the energy to go long term, and we saw that go into effect. But I think if the eliminations would have been switched to Rogan would have gassed out on this one too.
I agree. I think honestly, no, I do agree. This one would have made me a little bit more nervous that Rogan would have gotten the opportunity to just absolutely Jay Justin.
Once again, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, we
just
gave you a shout out for that last
freaking
week.
Jay him, you know what I mean? But so I was glad there was no physical contact between Rogan and Justin. But I do agree. I really liked this elimination, and it did also remind me of the patches one, like Tori's very first one against Marie, where you had to rip your blindfolded, you had to rip the patches off. And then it also reminded me, as much as I hate to make this comparison, It reminded me of the elimination. I believe they did it on, I think it was like a Champs vs. Pros or Champs vs. Stars or something where they were blindfolded. And they had the sticks and they had to like get close and like hit each other with the sticks, you know?
Wes and Bananas.
Yes, exactly. And so it kind of reminded me of like a meld between those two. The Balls In is another good, comparison like CT made. But yeah, I mean, pretty much it's, offense starts on the outside, defense is inside, all the lights go off and the laser comes on. Offensive player just needs to make contact with the laser to get that point. Defensive player has to stop them. 3 rounds, and you get to do offense and defense on each round, which I do like. It was like, we had this discussion with the All-Stars 5, the very last elimination, where it was like these rounds, but there wasn't an even number of turns in the round. So this one just felt so much more just straightforward. And this is what I like. This is what I want. I want straightforward eliminations that are easy to understand, that aren't like convoluted rules where people might misunderstand or things might happen that the fans aren't really notified about or understand. Like just, A plus B equals C. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's what it is. Go. Like, so I really, really loved this one. I will say I was not super, super excited about I don't even want to say I wasn't excited about the outcome, because I actually do really like both girls. Very much like Tay, because really just because of how she was with CT on episode 1, not being, an absolute bitch to him for him not being able to get up that hill and do very well in that daily. But I love Blue. Her energy, just everything about her is just so much fun and so exciting. And I was really looking forward to a season with her, and for her to go home on episode 2, I'm just absolutely like just gutted. So I don't want to say I'm sad to still have Tay, but like part of me is sad to lose Blue, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Because like we also haven't seen much of Tay, and I don't know if that's because there are just other personalities that were more prevalent to the storylines of episode 1 and 2, and then we'll see more of Tay as it goes on, or it's just a matter of like sometimes people aren't as great in confessionals as they are in the game, so you don't see as many of those. Now, I will say the confessionals that we saw of Tay this episode, I really liked, so I can see that moving forward. But I think it was Devin who said something about there was a season that he wasn't on, and I think it was USA or like Worlds or something like that, where Wes and Bananas were already in that cast, and because they play the game very similarly, it didn't make sense to have 3 people who play the game the exact same way in the spotlight, because they all would have been fighting for that spotlight with a similar gameplay, with similar confessionals.
Right.
So it could be that Tay and Blue, for example, have very similar confessionals, but Blue is more animated and more involved in the first 2 episodes. So Tay was sort of like backburnered in that sense. So I'm interested to see what she brings to it going forward, because she does seem interesting.
She does. Yeah. No, I do like Tay. And I will say that it was actually kind of cute the way CT was like screaming and cheering for her. And like, go get him, Tay. Like he was going to bat for her in that elimination. So I thought that was very cute, that just to see that they actually created like a nice little bond from that first daily when they worked together. But anyway, just kind of running through this really quick. And then I have one more topic I want to talk about really quick before we close out. But first round, Blue goes out, gets 5, Tay gets 6, and she wins. Round 2, Blue gets 6, and Tay gets 5. So Blue wins, and we go into round 3. In between round 2 and round 3, I just want to give a massive, massive shout out to Derek K. He stops the games and asks the girls if they want water, and then him and Derek Chavez each take their partners some water. But I loved how Derek didn't he took control in that moment, and he was like, wait, do you guys need water? I've never seen something like that happen in an elimination before. And it was just one of those things where I was like, good for you. Production should be doing that.
Yeah.
But good for you, Derek, for taking care of your partner, for showing up, for being there, for being the ears, and, showing that you actually care about these people in this house. So major props to them. And then we go into round 3 where Blue gets 4 lasers and Tay gets 10. Okay. Now, here's where I have an issue. I have multiple issues here. Number 1, the minute that Tay got her 5th laser, Blue gives up. She stops.
Yep.
And people are ripping Blue up, calling her a quitter, and you're supposed to go to the buzzer and blah, blah, blah. She had that. Here's my
She went
problem.
to her buzzer.
She already lost.
Why the fuck was there not a buzzer? Why did production sit there and let Tay run the score up on Blue? Why?
Yeah,
what was
there
the
was no
point in
need.
that?
Yep.
She had
I thought it was over.
Yeah, she had no chance of winning at that point. So why would she continue to run her body out and fight against Tay, knowing that she had no chance of winning? That was the end of the game. Why did production allow this? I don't want to say embarrassment, but just like, why would they allow this running up of the score to just continue? And I can't even blame Tay, because like I talked to some people and they were like, oh, well, she could have just sat in the middle of the ring after she got her 5th and refused to continue playing, which, yes, she could have. But you never know what's going on. So as a competitor, if you're winning, you just keep going. You go until they tell you to stop. You know what I mean? But Blue, like, it was on, in my opinion, it was on production to stop the games and have TJ, do his little air horn thing as soon as Tay got her 5th laser. And they failed to do that. And I just don't understand why. What was it supposed to be, like an embarrassment moment? Because for me, that's how it came off. Like they were just, let her embarrass her, let her run it up on her. Like it just, I don't know. And I'm sure that's not what it was, but that's how it comes off to me.
It was really weird. Like, because like when she got her 5th, I was like, okay, so Blue's done. But then they kept going and I was really confused. And then when Gabe said, like, you don't stop until they stop you, sort of deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you stop when you're out. Like, it wasn't a matter of her being like, Tay's got this one, I might as well just let her have it. It was a matter of Blue had 4. She had won 1 round previously. Tay had won 1 round previously. Tay got 5. That means Blue's going home.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she's quitting. Like, and I know that I've harped on Bananas for Ride or Dies, where like he stopped while the game was still in play. That's different. They were still like Devin and Tori were still building theirs. Shit could have gone wrong, and then they still wouldn't have been able to catch up because they sat down. With Tay and Blue had literally no way to come back from Tay getting a 5th one.
Yep.
Because it's not like Blue was going to miraculously like jump into the laser and they'd be like, oh, Blue touched the laser, Blue gets one too.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And that was my thing, is I was like, if defense could steal laser tags or however you want to look at that, if they could steal it from the offense, sure. Let them continue to go through the whole timer, however long the time frame is that you actually gave them to, do this elimination.
Like if you're able to do that in like the last 10 seconds of the round or something.
Yeah.
But to answer me this, any other elimination that is formatted this way, where it's a best 2 out of 3, and you are competing against, getting numbers, right? Okay. When has production ever let it continue to run all the way to the end of the clock, even though the other person is already lost? Never. They always fucking sound the air horn and stop the games. So why the fuck did they continue to let Tay run this up on Blue? I just don't get it.
To maybe go with the theme of new threats and just put them down, like, but it was new threat against new threat too, so I have no freaking clue. Never mind.
And that's my thing. If it was Bananas versus, and they let him do that, I'd be like, of course, because it's fucking Bananas. They want him to look like a badass. Yeah. But at the same time, it's just like, but it was a rookie versus rookie.
Yeah. The only way that it makes sense to do it, and this isn't how it went, but the only way that it would have made sense is that both people are collecting points every round together. And there are 10 lasers or whatever, and then whoever gets the most each round, there you go. And then maybe like in other seasons, we could say, because like in other seasons, there have been entire rules that we've missed because we haven't been told, or there's like, they say 2 out of 3, but it's 3 out of 5. Like, I don't think that that's one of those situations. It's not like they were both competing to get the lasers and then they were just like, well, this ended poorly. Let's edit this a different way. But then they still showed their just run the whole thing. Like, it's clear Blue was out. Like, no coming back.
There
like,
was
Blue
no.
was out. Blue's
Katie
going
doubled
home.
her score in the final round. There was no reason for it, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Just I don't know. Like, honestly, the thing is too is like part of me wants to be like, oh, this was a very calculated and like kind of a cold move from production to allow this to happen. And then another part of me is like, honestly, it was probably what probably happened is some fucking, producer was sitting back there on his fucking phone instead of watching. And then he looks up and he's like, oh shit, fuck, stop it. Didn't even notice that Tay was way beyond what she needed. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what happened, is just lack of attention, but it feels calculated.
Personal.
It feels cold. It feels callous.
It makes no sense.
Purposeful. And I was not a fan of that. So, but I did like I did like the elimination. And, I do hope that I'd love to see something like this again. Like, honestly, I would not be mad to see this exact elimination again in a future season. So
brutal.
And I won't lie, I liked the previous one too. Like, I like those elements because you can't prepare for them.
Right.
Like, it's an elimination that tests a very specific set of skills that you can't practice. It's not like you can go in, it's a tanagram, and then you're just like, here you go.
Like the one with
Liam Neeson.
with the one with Jordan.
I have a very specific set of skills. As soon as you said that, I was like, all right, Liam Neeson, get him.
Like the elimination with Darrell and Jordan on All Stars. There was no way to prepare for that. I mean, how do you?
Yeah, no, you can't. So, I thought this was a decent episode. I thought it definitely leaned way too far into the D, Bananas, and Will of it all. I wish that we had gotten a little bit more of other people. But again, Bananas is their prize pony, so they're going to lean into him every freaking chance that they goddamn get. So, and people wonder why I get sick of seeing him on this friggin' season. It's always about him and some girl. Anyway, moving on. Did you guys have an LVP for this episode?
Yes.
Who's your LVP, Josh?
Derek, because he gave it to himself. That's the only reason. And I was exactly saying this because he did that. So that's the only reason why I have an LVP, because he called himself the LVP.
Honestly, as soon as I saw it, I told Rick, I go, okay, I am giving my LVP to Derek K because he gave it to himself. And last week, like, Rick totally threw me off because at first he's like, oh, the non-threat. Who's your non-threat, right? And I was like, oh, Ben. Like, that's easy. That's fine. Ben didn't do much this episode. He got out of an elimination without even having to get out of an elimination, really. So I'll just give it to Ben because whatever. And then, like, 2 minutes later, Rick changes the whole verbiage and he's like, LVP. And I'm like, wait. Ben is not an LVP. So let's fucking back up for a second. If we're doing LVP. So anyway, I am also going to give it to Derek K because he gave it to himself. And I do see his point. He definitely put Blue in a really bad position. And she also put herself in a bad position. It's not like she was figuring out the puzzle too. So, that's where I'm going to go ahead and kind of send my vote, is right there to Derek K and Blue, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. I mean, I generally don't pick an LVP just because it's an edit more than how somebody actually performed.
Right, yeah.
But when somebody gives themselves the LVP, I will gladly just go along
DK,
with
this is the only reason why, buddy. All right, that's all I'm saying.
It's just because you gave it. You gave it to yourself.
I don't want that heat.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna put an honorable mention LVP in here to Will, because what the fuck are you doing, bro? Calm down. Calm your titties down. Yeah. It's gonna be okay. Point. So Will is my honorable mention LVP, because why are you freaking out this much over a girl that, like, come on, bro, you're better than that. Just let it go and move on. Do you guys have any MVPs?
I do.
100%
Lekka and Turbo. Turbo acknowledged his abilities in the game, acknowledge that he is a champion of this game, and that he's a good partner when you're direct. And like Lekka is a very direct player. I've watched her on her initial show. She's very direct and she knows what she wants. She knows how to get it. And I also really appreciated how supportive Turbo was and how he was like, these are the non-negotiables. Anyone else is fair game. It's a female elimination. You're the female portion of this team. It's on you. I support whatever you want to do. And then even his social game is becoming more and more clear. Like the scene with him and Bananas at the club when he gives him the middle finger that pops out of the box.
Yeah, that was pretty cute. Yeah.
And like his conversation before it and the build up to it and how like this is an honor and you have to give it to somebody else, but you can't give it back to me and yada, yada, yada. Like it's all part of it. It's a side of Turbo that we're not seeing. Yeah. So Lekka and Turbo MVP.
I like it.
I'm going to have to go with the same mainly because I'm probably not going to be able to say it again for Turbo.
Yeah. Same.
So I want to take this one and only chance. Maybe, hey, it could be different. That could be down the road and he could do something even great between now and then.
Yeah.
But dude, what I've seen from Turbo in these first 2 episodes is amazing. It's something we haven't seen. Well, I mean, we have seen it before, but we've also seen it go off the rails during the same time. And it's not off the rails right now, and it's really genuine and really cool.
No, I do agree. I'm definitely giving my LVP to Turbo and Lekka as a
MVP.
team.
MVP.
What did I say?
LVP.
Oh, no, I meant MVP. For sure, MVP. My brain is not braining right now.
Almost done.
But yes, MVP to, I am also going to give it to Turbo and Lekka as a team for all the reasons that you guys said. And then I just want to give a special shout out to Tay because honestly, both those girls kicked ass in that elimination. I was actually, as soon as I saw it, because I had actually seen Blue's little Instagram video before I saw the episode. So I knew that Blue was eliminated before I even watched the episode, which, you know, spoiler alert, I know all of the eliminations before they happen anyway. But I don't always remember like the exact order that stuff goes in. And so anyway, I saw that and immediately I was like, oh my God, when like she went in there with Tay and I saw it was something physical. Cause I just have this feeling, I don't know what it is, but something about Tay makes me think she is a beast in the
She
hiding.
reminds me of Zara.
Yes, she reminds me of a beast undercover, sleeping in the night. You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh my God, Blue is going to get fucking wrecked by Tay down there when I saw them getting ready to go down there. But they were like so evenly matched and it was a great elimination on both sides. So I definitely want to give Tay props for pulling through that because it wasn't like Blue was an easy opponent. So massive shout out to her as well.
I have an honorable mention that I also have to say because we don't say it often. My honorable mention is for production for next week and for this season on, because as soon as DK was shown to be the hangnail, I was like, whatever. There's the daily like wherever else in the season where he needs help when he's in the big tube thing. So I was like, for those 10, 12 seconds, I was like, it's a non-issue. Like, it doesn't matter. DK's sticking around no matter what happens next episode because I saw him in this season on when he's in the challenge where he calls for a medic.
That's the next daily. Why is he playing? Why is he playing as the hangnail? Hold the fucking phone.
So that I didn't even think of. But my whole point was the fact that like they showed it this season on and I was like, okay, cool. So when he became the hangnail, I was like, no issue. Because even if he goes into elimination, I know he comes back out because we haven't had that daily yet. And then the very next episode, when he's in that daily, he calls for help. And I was like, but that's the one that was making me know that DK was safe. But now I don't even understand why he's in the daily. So now I take back my honorable mention to production because that's not how the rules work. So I'm really confused now.
Something happens. Something is going to happen. Something is going to happen next episode. I don't know what.
That long drop into water with his recently resurged knee?
Yeah.
But why is he in it?
What I'm saying, Josh, is why is he playing at all? He should be on the sidelines, ineligible.
I have a suggestion. Will broke his hand and had to go home.
Oh,
That's kind of my thinking.
maybe.
Either Will broke his hand or the wall complained to production.
Yeah. I mean, it could be something like that. And maybe that's what it is. Somebody gets DQ'd. Somebody gets sent home at the beginning of next episode. And that then puts Derek with that partner.
Yep.
And
That's the only reason why I could see
I
Then
don't
would
him
that
know.
invalidate the hangnail? In which case, what happens again? Do we then go back to episode 1 rules where
And
the
TJ
winner
flips the
saves a
coin again.
team?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Does he
by
flip
the
a
way,
coin?
I just want
I
to
don't know.
say, because I know this was something that Rick really, really wanted to talk about on tonight's episode. And obviously he is not here to talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and voice this on behalf of Rick. He believes that every two eliminations, TJ is going to flip that coin again. And it's not going to be guaranteed that it's boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy,
Okay.
girl. It could be boy, girl, 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 boy, boy, girl. Like it could switch up like that throughout the season. That's Rick's prediction. We don't actually know. Because again, we do know we know who makes it to the final, but we don't know the exact order in which people are eliminated. So this is just kind of like a prediction from Rick's side of that he thinks there's a potential that we will get multiple coin flips this season and we will get eliminations out of order and maybe not necessarily boy, girl, or girl, boy, you know?
It makes sense because they wouldn't have really brought in the concept of the coin flip. It wouldn't have mattered. They would have just said
yes,
he would have just said,
we're starting
we flipped a coin before and it's girls. But he specifically mentions it, which means that if it is a girl that goes home next, then DK wouldn't be the hangnail anyway. So then this is like my Charlie Day wall with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then in that case, what would happen? Yeah, exactly. So in that case, what would happen is if it becomes a female elimination, DK is no longer the hangnail. So first place picks a team to save, and then it runs exactly like episode 1 did. The person who goes home, that partner becomes a hangnail, and then
we rerun
that's how it works.
Episode 2.
So we go episode 1 and 2 sort of repeats every section with the coin flip, and depending on how it lands.
That's how I think too. I do think it's going to be something like that, but I do think that we may have figured out the DK thing. I think a guy gets DQ'd or goes home or quits or whatever the fuck happens, who knows? But potentially a guy DQs and
then he DKs.
And then Derek gets put with that guy's girl partner, right?
Yeah.
But what if it's a rookie guy? He would have a vet girl. If Will is the one that gets eliminated, he would have a vet partner. So then that would make a vet partnership between DK and the girl, and they wouldn't allow that.
Unless
what the fuck happens? Why is DK in this? Why is he in this daily?
It could also happen that whatever happens at the elimination, so that before the teams are picked, and then we have to do that way. Did he say? Did TJ specifically say that DK was the hangnail? Or are we just working on the assumption that he's the hangnail?
I think we're working on the assumption. And also,
so it could just be that they pick everybody and last person is the hang.
I also just had an idea.
Yeah.
I also had an idea that might make this make sense, but I'm not sure if TJ ever said that it's not possible. Were we ever told that the hangnail cannot be chosen as a partner by the people up on stage? Like,
no.
Potentially, could Lekka, for example, I'm just using her because she's the first pick, could she say, fuck all of you guys, I want DK as my partner? And then he's no longer the hangnail, and whoever's left after the voting now becomes the hangnail. That could potentially explain, but I don't know if that's
this
even allowed.
This is the season of twists, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that TJ, I don't know.
Could be that TJ likes DK.
Yeah.
He's like, go ahead, just go try it. It's fine. And then he ruins his whole life. Oh my God. That would be
that's like what I said to Sarah. Is like after the daily is like, that either before they got there or after they left, TJ drove around that track for like an hour and a half.
Oh, the one from today? Oh yeah. As soon as I saw the side-by-sides jumping, I go, oh, TJ is smitten right now. He's so happy. He's so happy. He loves this shit. Anyway, did you guys have any closing thoughts that you guys want to say before we hop off?
I'm just happy that Lekka's doing as well as she is. Like I'm very happy that I watched the series, got really into the show, ended up really liking her as a player on that show. because all I knew was that she was from Canada's Ultimate Challenge. I didn't even know if I was going to like her as a player. I was just like, well, I have to support her because she's the Canadian on the cast.
Yeah.
And she's from a show that's specifically in Canada.
Yeah, it's required.
And she's actually like awesome.
So
I'm really happy that she's doing as well and getting as much screen time so that she's not just like an afterthought. Like she's part of the main
story
threat.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. She's awesome. Josh, did you have any last minute thoughts?
No, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, me neither. Well, then, thank you guys so much for, hanging out with us tonight and sitting here and talking challenge here with your little challenge besties over on Challenge Fandom Podcast. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe, share it, comment. Let us know your thoughts down below. What you guys think about the daily? What you think about the elimination? Are you guys here for the bananas and D and Will of it all? What are you guys thinking about these rookies so far? And feel free to weigh in on mine and Rick's fight down there. Who does Sydney remind you more of? Amanda, Laurel, Wes? What are you feeling? Where are you sitting? And don't worry, our marriage will be fine, I promise. But anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out here with us. And we will see you guys next week for episode 3. Bye.
See ya.
Later.
I just realized I didn't do everybody's names like Rick does. My bad. Sorry.
Oh,
but
okay.
Whatever.
You weren't expecting to host.
I was not expecting to close out and host. And then I was like, I've done the opening before, but I've never once done the closing. And then so it got time to close and I was like, fuck, what does Rick say? And I'm like trying to play it in my head. It was
For
not
myself,
working. So.
Rick Hayes, my wife, Corrina Hayes.
That's right.
Beautiful
Yes.
wife.
Yeah.
Don't shortchange Corrina.
My bad. My beautiful wife. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
it's not quite midnight, right?
It is. Happy birthday.
Fuck you.
It is for Tony.
I almost texted you at
Fucking
12:01.
snake.